Welcome to Gorilla Sports Off Court. I am your host for today, Liv Moods, and this is presented by Trusted American Mortgage. Trusted American salary-based mortgage consultants want to help you get into a better I just totally forgot. Trusted American Mortgage wants to help you lower your monthly payments and get you a better interest rate. So head to trustedamerican.com to see how they can help you save some money today.
Hello and welcome in.
Please do not leave your luggage unattended on the station.
Welcome to the show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into a Gorilla Sports Off Court episode. I am your host for today, Liv Moods, with lots to discuss. Of course, we're going to talk about what is currently going on in the NBA. We've got the conference finals underway, both in the West and out in the East. The OKC Thunder are up 1-0 on the Timberwolves after pretty much blowing the Timberwolves out in game one. Kind of was wondering if that's what we were going to see in game one, given the rust versus rest situation. I think that the Timberwolves having more rest, it doesn't always work in favor of the team that's got more rest. And so I was a little worried about that. OKC having a little bit of that fresh momentum. Do I think that OKC is going to have an easy time in this conference finals? I don't. I think Minnesota will figure it out. Anthony Edwards ended the game with a smile on his face. He was looking extra confident, extra happy. It does make you wonder, what's up his sleeve? You want to see more from him, of course, and more from the bench that the Timberwolves have that the Nuggets did not. Obviously, there are still calls I don't agree with. There is still a whistle that drives me insane. And genuinely, it's getting to the point where I don't care if you're an OKC fan, open your eyes. You know the basic rules of basketball. You know what's a foul and what's not. And you know, as much as I know, that it's getting a little out of control. So much so that I think teams are scared to defend OKC because they know that the whistle will be in OKC's favor. It's a little ridiculous. It sucks because yesterday I should have wanted to celebrate SGA being the MVP, but I just didn't. I didn't feel good about it. It didn't feel right. It felt like Jokic got snubbed, but more than that, it felt like we're rewarding a guy who has completely altered his game around getting a beneficial whistle. And that's aggravating. I do think it is just doing basketball a disservice. It's doing the highest level of basketball a disservice, and it's aggravating for sure. So wanted to celebrate that. I will say congratulations to SGA for being the MVP. There's no doubt that he had a phenomenal season. No one is denying him of that. He is wonderful. That being said, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to watch. If OKC makes it all the way, I don't know how many games I'm going to be able to tolerate with the whistle being the way that it is. And that's just me. That's my opinion. If you disagree with it, fine. You have your opinion. I have mine. But it does drive me absolutely bonkers. So congratulations to SGA nonetheless. Like I said, OKC up 1-0. But we have to discuss last night's game in the Eastern Conference Finals. The Knicks up the majority of that game. They're already throwing up on the TV, teams that lead by this much are this and this. Their record is this and this, whatever. Basically, the Knicks had that game. They had it. They absolutely did. And then you let a guy like Nesmith just absolutely annihilate you from the three-point line. I actually don't think we're giving him enough credit, right? Post-game, it's very easy to talk about the Tyrese Halliburton, who we know has been exceptionally impactful for the Pacers and done a really great job. But those threes, man, he could not be stopped. He was also guarding exceptionally well. He was making an impact on both sides of the floor and doing a really great job at that. So Nesmith, to me, was the X factor for the Pacers. And I have to just tuck my tail and apologize right here, right now, and say, I absolutely underestimated this Pacers team. I had no idea they were capable of this. I had no idea that they had this up their sleeve. I really, really didn't. And honestly, so much of that is because I don't really watch the Eastern Conference all that much. It's not a huge priority to me, given that I'm covering the Denver Nuggets as much as I am. I don't really keep track of the Eastern Conference as much as I should. I had people telling me over and over and over again. I had people telling me that the Pacers were going to make a run in the postseason. They were telling me that, and I just didn't believe it. I really didn't. I did not see the potential there. I did not. Again, I think I just underestimated their ability at this stage of the postseason. I think there were other teams that I just pictured having an easier time. The Celtics, obviously, you can't. There's no way you can predict an injury to a star player like Jason Tatum. That obviously is super unfortunate. But man, the Pacers, to me, after last season, I guess I just kind of counted them out, and I don't know why I did that, but they are an exceptionally talented team, and I think we're going to get a really exciting conference finals no matter what. I think in the West, you're going to get the Timberwolves kind of buttoning things up and starting to get back into it. And then you're going to get the East as well, highly competitive. I mean, again, I shut the game off last night. We were watching Knicks Pacers, and my fiance had placed a bet on the Pacers, and we turned the TV off. We were like, oh, yeah, it's getting out of control. Like, it's bad. It's bad. It's not happening. And then I get a notification while we're sitting there, and it's like the Pacers with an insane buzzer beater to take it into overtime. I was like, here I go again. Here I go again, counting this team out. And shame on me, because they are a phenomenal team. Shame on me. So yeah, I again, what a team, what a win. Just when you thought that they were not in that game and the Knicks had it, it's also very, 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 very hard to win or compete at a high level when you're in Madison Square Garden, in my opinion. But to steal game one on the road, playing in the Garden, is very, very impressive. So shout out to the Pacers. I have to just make a huge public apology here because I did not know you were like that. I really didn't. I absolutely underestimated you. And for that, I am sorry. But I think we're going to get really impressive and really competitive Eastern, actually both Eastern and Western Conference finals. So for that, you can't really be mad. I will tell you, being a Nuggets fan and not having the stress of my team playing, it definitely means that you can watch basketball a little bit more comfortably. But of course, would love to see my Denver Nuggets still playing basketball right now. But it is what it is. And I'm excited to just keep watching hoops. So Only Morale says, I'm just here for Liv to give SGA credit. You're not going to get it. Sorry. I do give SGA credit. If you think that I don't, then I'm not arguing with you. I absolutely give him credit. I already said congratulations for him being the MVP. But quite frankly, I'm sick of watching him play basketball because he's not really playing basketball all the time. He's doing a lot of flailing and flopping, and it is getting out of control. And you can be an SGA fan, you can be an OKC fan and still understand and know the fundamentals of basketball and know that there are a lot of BS calls that are working in favor of SGA, things that he can do that other people cannot. And that's where we have a problem. So I'm not going to talk about it because I'm not going to say anything that you want to hear. I promise you, I'm just going to sound like a hater. So I'm not discussing SGA on the show. I don't care. Congratulations on MVP. Outside of that, I don't really care. I do want to talk, however, about some comments that were made and some rumors and rumblings that I'm hearing. Just so you guys know, Josh Kroenke is talking at Ball Arena here in about 20 minutes, and we will obviously be filming that and we will post it for you so you guys can see his thoughts. I'm hoping that they ask a lot of questions in regards to the general manager, the head coach, where he's leaning with David Adelman. Is he in serious contention? Did this postseason run seal the deal for Adelman being the head coach? What are some of the offseason moves they're planning on making? Any trades that are at the front of their minds? I hope we get answers to all of those questions. But first, I've got to flash it back to the Coach Malone era. Okay. I have no problem with Coach Malone being salty and frustrated with how things ended in Denver. I was actually a huge advocate for Coach Malone being able to finish out the season. I didn't feel like the timing was fair. I felt like there was probably a lot of Coach Malone's firing that was collateral damage to Calvin Booth. Calvin Booth caused a lot of problems with this roster. We know that. Any Nuggets fan, any person that watches the Denver Nuggets knows Calvin Booth made some really boneheaded decisions when it comes to this roster, constructing a championship roster. So do I think Coach Malone was collateral damage a little tiny little bit? Of course. Do I think Coach Malone is exceptionally frustrated with how things ended, given all that he gave to the Denver Nuggets franchise? Of course. Does he have a right to be frustrated? Of course he does. Here's what he doesn't have a right to do. Completely contradict things that he said a few months ago. SGA proved why he's the most valuable player. Really? Because I'm pretty sure just a few months ago you said anyone with eyes knows that Nikola Jokic is the MVP. Be upset with Denver and how they handled things. That's fine. But Nikola Jokic was a huge part of your success in Denver. Come on. Let's not do that. Stand on your word. Whether you agree with how things ended with the Denver Nuggets franchise, that has nothing to do with Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic was very, very important and crucial and valuable to Coach Malone's success here in Denver. I don't want to go there because the shoulda, coulda, wouldas are a bad place to live, but I'm pretty certain Coach Malone would not have a championship and or the success he saw in Denver without Nikola Jokic. And it was just a few months ago that Coach Malone basically said, if you don't think Nikola Jokic is the MVP, I don't know what's wrong with you. And then you get a reporting gig, and one of the first things you say post-game is, SGA proved why he's the MVP. Really? Do you have short-term memory loss? I'm just confused. The other thing that rubbed me a little sideways about Coach Malone and his new reporting gig here was the fact that he called OKC fans the best fans in the NBA. I understand you're frustrated, Coach Malone, but that has nothing to do with us. That's what I don't appreciate. I don't appreciate switching sides. If you're going to say that the Denver Nuggets have the best fans in the world, stick by that. Through the good and the bad. The fans have nothing to do with you not having a job here anymore. Nothing. And neither does Nikola Jokic. And in those moments, and I get it, you're covering an OKC game. So you got to give credit where it's due. But you knew the kind of havoc you were going to cause when you said what you said, and you said it anyway. And you said it with your chest. So, again, blessing in disguise, right? Coach Malone being fired. I think a lot of people were like, oh, was this the right decision? I think it was. It's just, it's kind of corny to me. It's corny to switch up that way in just a few months. And the only thing that changed from then to now is you lost your job. That has nothing to do with Nikola Jokic and his level of talent. You were kind of implying that people that don't think Nikola Jokic is the MVP are like they're either not seeing it or they're not getting it. And now you're saying SGA proved why he's the MVP tonight. That's pretty rich. Coming from a guy who, we've got receipts. I'm not sure if you know this, but every post-game presser that you speak at gets filmed. So we've got hard copies of you saying something completely contradictory to what you said the other night in OKC's building. And then you dog on the fans. Come on. Come on, Malone. You're better than that. The fans never wanted to see you go in that way. The fans had your back. The fans loved having you here. We have nothing to do with your time ending in Denver. So that felt weird. That being said, let's talk about the Denver Nuggets for just a little bit. I'm seeing rumblings and rumors. And again, this is where I hope that we get some clarification from Kroenke as he's about to speak today. There's rumblings. There's rumors spreading that the Nuggets are uncomfortable with the idea of separating the championship core on this Denver Nuggets team. Time to separate it, I fear. Here's what I'm going to tell you. I said after last year's postseason, and we will find the clip, that the only two players, in my opinion, that should be safe when the Denver Nuggets start to play chess are Aaron Gordon and Nikola Jokic. Boy, was I right. Those are the two guys. Worst case scenario, you can only build around two guys. Without question, it is Aaron Gordon and Nikola Jokic. Now, as a bonus, you want to throw Christian Braun in there. Yes, you absolutely do. I think the Nuggets should want to do everything in their power to keep CB on this Denver Nuggets roster. Do I think you could trade Jamal and upgrade this roster? I do. Do I think they will? No. So the reality is, we know one thing is for certain. If they're smart, Jokic, AG, and Jamal are safe. I think you got to fight like hell to keep CB, but I know he's worth a whole lot more right now than he was when you first got him. His stock is high, and teams would be interested in CB. I've said many, 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 many times that one of Denver Nuggets' weaknesses is staying too loyal to the championship core. They're too loyal to the championship core. I understand what they did in 2023, but it's 2025, and we're actually about to enter a 2025-2026 season. So what have you done for me lately? I'm sorry. You've got to find a way to replace Michael Porter Jr. What you're getting out of Michael Porter Jr., not just because he's injured, what you were getting before the injury actually is just not enough if this team is serious about winning another title. It is what it is. You can say it's harsh, you can say I'm a hater, but this is a business, and teams all across the NBA are making business decisions. Michael Porter Jr. has to be part of that business decision. Unfortunately, because of the lack of depth, you've got to free yourself from the Saric contract. You've got to free yourself from the Zeke Naji contract. Have to. Now, who's got stock? I believe Peyton Watson has stock. His stock is up. You guys know I am a huge Peyton Watson stan. I think he's got so much potential that we haven't even seen yet. I'd love to see him improve his offense, his shot a little bit in the offseason, but I know he will. That's the type of player that he is. The defensive upside you get from him, the effort, the energy. Peyton Watson, to me, brings you a lot of valuable pieces. However, unfortunately, he might be one of those guys you have to use in a trade package to replace Michael Porter Jr. and add some depth. In my opinion, of the championship core that I'm hearing rumblings and rumors about the Nuggets not wanting to break up, get over it and break it up. Sorry. It's just the truth. Aaron Gordon and Nikola Jokic from that championship core are your only two safe guys. Point blank, period. I know for a fact Denver's not going to want to give up Jamal Murray, so we know he's also a part of that. And if the Nuggets were smart, they'd keep CB. So you've got 4 of your 5 starters. Michael Porter Jr., thank you for your service. It's time to go. It's just not working anymore. Okay, it's just not working anymore. So unfortunately, you may have to do a Michael Porter Jr., Peyton Watson, and some draft picks as a part of this trade package. That might be the answer here because you need depth and you need a replacement for Michael Porter Jr. I still have my eyes set on Kevin Durant. Sorry, it's the truth. I don't know how happy Kevin Durant is in Phoenix. I'm going to pretend he's not happy and he wants to get out. Cool. Let's come over here to Denver. I think most players in the NBA would love to play alongside Nikola Jokic. Kevin Durant to me, great addition. I just think it's time to part ways with Michael Porter Jr. And it's nothing personal and there's no hard feelings. But when we look at what we got out of Michael Porter Jr. in this year's postseason, it simply was not enough. It just simply was not enough. So, I just think that, yeah, I just think that you have to move like a business, operate like a business. And in order to do that, I think Michael Porter Jr. has made it abundantly clear that he is no longer a solution here in Denver. He's more of I think there's been more harm than good as of late with Michael Porter Jr. So, yeah, I think that you make some changes, you move things around, and you do so in a way that you add a little bit of depth. Hell, try to get Bruce Brown back. Why don't you? He obviously loves Denver. I don't think he ever wanted to leave. Okay, get Bruce Brown back, and see if you can keep Russ for cheap. Russ and Bruce, don't mind that off the bench. You got to create some depth. Some of that is just being strategic with the guys that you currently have and finding ways to utilize them, of course. But also, I just think it's the time has expired with Michael Porter Jr. in Denver. That's how I feel. And hopefully we will be hearing from Josh Kroenke in about 10 minutes. And we will, of course, be playing that for you guys. You guys will be able to see that on all of our social channels. And hopefully we get a little bit of clarification as to what they plan to do in the off season. Now that the season is over and it did not end the way that we were all hoping that it would, you want to see them potentially make some big moves, and hopefully they're already thinking about those big moves. Hopefully this is not something that they, are waiting on. I think the answers are pretty clear as to what needs to change, what's got to give in the offseason. So I think, yeah, I think Michael Porter Jr. is a big change that needs to be made in Denver, unfortunately. And I don't think it needs to be viewed as this harsh and horrible thing. It just is what it is. It's a business. But I think if the Nuggets are smart, they try their best to keep Christian Brown. If the Nuggets are also smart, they build their main focus is building around Aaron Gordon and Nikola Jokic. I think naturally Jamal will stay in Denver. So you find a replacement for MPJ. Unfortunately, in order to get some depth and a replacement for MPJ and or just a starter that's a superstar, you may have to include a Peyton Watson in that package. You got to find a way to free up some money and get rid of that Zeke Naji contract, get rid of Saric. Because those are just guys that don't really make sense. And you've seen them, you've utilized them, you've tried to make it work, and it's just not working. So, yeah, that's kind of how I feel about the Denver Nuggets. Again, we'll get a little bit more clarification from Kroenke in about 10-ish minutes. BK and Jason, aka Jet Life, are over there right now getting us what we need. So we'll hopefully have some footage there that we can look at. But yeah, that's about it. That's about it from me. I'm trying to read some of these comments from you guys. I don't know if you guys have any pressing things you want me to address. Again, I started off the show with an apology to the Pacers because, my gosh, I was very wrong about the Pacers. They are quite the team. Mario, you said, have you seen Jalen Brunson play? He flops all the time too. Yes, there's a lot of floppers in this league. 100%. 100%. But your most valuable player has been getting rewarded for flopping the absolute most, and he is your most valuable player. So I think, unfortunately, we're now going to see flopping even worse than it's ever been in the next season. So yeah, I do see it, and it pisses me off. And so much of this is because they were rewarding the flopping with certain guys. And right now we're seeing it with the most valuable player, which is what makes it hilarious and ironic. But you're seeing them reward bad behavior. So why would it change? In fact, other people are just going to now jump on board and join the bad behavior. So I do see it. They all flop, and it's frustrating, and it's ruining the game of basketball. And right now, I'm blaming SGA for that. If you don't agree, I don't care. Deal with it. It's how I feel. So yeah. Okay, cool. Okay. I don't think I've got anything else for you guys. Of course, we will have Josh Kroenke's thoughts, and we'll post those on our social channels as well as our YouTube. So make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube as well as following us on all things socials, because we'll have those posted and up for you guys all to see. I'm taking a little vacation next week, so I will not be in the studio filming, but hopefully we'll have some exciting things to offer you when I get back. Just be on the lookout. Follow Guerrilla Sports on all things socials, as well as subscribe to our YouTube. I'm Liv Mood signing off for now. This has been another Guerrilla Sports Off Court presented by Trusted American Mortgage. You can head to trustedamerican.com to see how they can help you save some money, getting you a better interest rate, lowering your monthly payments. They are designed to help you save. So shout out to our friends over at Trusted American. I'm Liv Mood signing off. Make sure you are tuning in to all things Guerrilla Sports throughout the day today to hear Josh Kroenke's thoughts on the Denver Nuggets. See ya.